A major reason owners want to switch their pet to raw is so they can avoid the poor ingredients and misleading claims in commercial kibble. Many of these owners become DIY raw feeders so they can have the ultimate control over their pet's meals, but others would rather feed a pre-made commercial raw so they don't have to worry about balancing, or if they just don't have the time. Raw feeding has become a lot more popular, which is great, but with popularity comes a few challenges as well. The market for commercial raw pet food is fairly new, and some misleading claims on websites and ingredients labels are slipping through the cracks. Now, just like the big pet food industry, some red flags are popping up in the raw food industry as well. So here are 5 red flags to look out for when shopping for a reputable commercial raw food. Number 1, false claims of being complete and balanced. Complete and balanced means that the food contains each and every nutrient that's essential to that particular species, which in the pet food industry is determined by AAFCO or FeedIfe. For the brand to be able to have the wording complete and balanced on their packaging, they must either meet the nutrient requirements established by AAFCO or FeedIfe, or they need to have passed AAFCO or FeedIfe's feeding trial procedures. Some small online boutique companies have been able to evade these regulations and sneak these words onto their websites. But in reality, the food is not at all balanced. Of course, this shouldn't be confused with companies that sell prey model grinds though, as most claim that they're just a base grind of muscle meats, organ meats, and raw meaty bones used for supplemental feeding where the owner can fill nutritional gaps themselves. If you want a fully balanced raw food where you don't have to do this, make sure to look for the nutritional adequacy statement that states that the formula is complete and balanced to AAFCO or FeedIfe standards. Number 2, excess plant matter. To cut costs, one of the easiest thing a pet food company can do is reduce the meat and increase the plant matter content. Many companies formulate under the notion that they can fill nutritional gaps with fruits and vegetables, but this is a pretty big misconception. While many companies probably mean well, this can be an indicator that they aren't fully versed in animal nutrition. While these foods do contain forms of a certain vitamin or mineral, this doesn't mean it's absorbed by the body in the same way. For example, iron. This is very high in liver and spleen, as well as shellfish like oysters and mussels. However, it's also high in spinach, kale, and broccoli. Well, what makes these foods different? Its form. There are 2 forms of iron, heme iron, which is found in animal-based ingredients, and non-heme iron, which is found in plant-based ingredients. Even in humans, heme iron is much more easily absorbed by the body than non-heme iron. So just imagine the poor bioavailability of a species that mainly relies on animal-based foods for survival. Zinc, vitamin D, and omega-3s are also found in plant-based ingredients, but all have very low bioavailability in our pets compared to animal-based. If you're looking at the ingredients label and see a large chunk of fruits and vegetables, especially when looking for a raw food for your cat or ferret, move on to another brand. Number 3, lack of transparency. The more details a brand provides to their customers regarding their ingredients and nutritional analysis, the better. Owners who seek out raw food diets tend to be more conscious about what's included in the formula and in what amounts. Over the years, I've encountered many red flags when reviewing some raw food companies' formulas after requesting more info. Many were way too high in raw bone, while some didn't include secreting organs. And some weren't even able to provide me with even the most basic information on how much of each food is in the mix. Some companies have even stated that the ingredients provided on the website have changed, yet they still have yet to update it. When feeling out a raw food company, look for the ingredients list and nutritional report. If this isn't present, contact them. If this is present, it's still a good idea to contact them. Ask for a detailed report on the ingredients, the amounts, and the overall nutritional profile of the food, including their calcium to phosphorus ratio. If they won't provide this to you, move on. Number 4, relying on synthetic nutrients. Another way raw food companies cut costs is to fill nutritional gaps with synthetic nutrients rather than with whole food sources. From a business standpoint, I get it. But if you're passionate enough about species-appropriate diets for cats, dogs, or ferrets, why is your goal to make a large majority of your food's nutrients come from synthetic compounds? This isn't necessarily a dangerous red flag like some of the others that I've mentioned, but if you're going to spend a lot more money feeding your pet a commercial raw diet, it might as well be one that uses more fresh, animal-based ingredients to fill nutritional gaps rather than relying on powdered supplements. Number 5, only providing muscle meat, bone, and liver. This is a more nitpicky red flag of mine, but it's still something worth talking about. When a raw food company sells a complete and balanced raw formula, I'm hoping to see as many animal-based ingredients as possible, meaning not just muscular tissue, but muscular organs as well. Not just liver as the only secreting organ, but something like kidney or spleen as well. With PMR blends, I'm more lenient with because these aren't made to be a balanced formula. But when it comes to a balanced raw food, I'd like to see more organ meats in the mix, whether that be muscular organs or secreting organs. I'm not saying to pass up a good raw food that checks most of these boxes, but this one, I'm just saying it's something to think about. I've done a few detailed reviews on a few raw food companies already. Watch these videos to learn about them.